Hello and welcome to Tech Mahindra's YouTube Live with Rajesh Dhuddu. Rajesh is our resident expert on blockchain, and he's a lattice 80 blockchain 100 influencers and also global head of blockchain practice at Tech Mahindra. Welcome, Rajesh. It is a pleasure to talk to you,
Hi,
and
Malad.
we are keen to hear your thoughts on whether brand needs blockchain. Let's go
Absolutely
ahead
happy to.
and introduce yourself, please.
Thanks, Malhat. Thanks, everyone who is joining this crowdcast this afternoon and morning and maybe evening for some of you if you're joining from different parts of the world. My name is Rajesh Dhuddu, and I lead blockchain practice globally for Tech Mahindra. I've been with Tech Mahindra for the last 16 months. Prior to this, I have about 20 plus years of experience in the telecom and the payment domains. Uh, Before joining Tech Mahindra, I had set up a payment processing company in India that became a member of MasterCard and Visa. On virtue of that particular initiative, I got into the exciting world of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And subsequently, I joined Tech Mahindra as the global practice leader for blockchain.
Thank you. Thanks for that generous introduction. So, as I see, we have few people joining in. So, as they join in, we'll just wait for a minute or two for
Sure,
others to join. But to keep the engagement going, I have a question to start our conversation.
sure, Malhar.
Probably say one about any of the greatest blockchain implementation that you might have seen, something that you are very proud to talk about. Would you mind sharing that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, that's a tough question because I have come across many implementations of blockchain. Why go anywhere far? I would like to talk about the blockchain implementation that all the telcos in India are doing currently. This is as per the norm mandated by the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, where the TRAI has mandated all telcos to use blockchain to protect users like me and you who suffer on a daily basis from what we call as spam calls and text calls. Prior to completion of this implementation, the world's largest blockchain network was Bitcoin. Of course, it is in the public blockchain space. But after the completion of implementation, of this particular blockchain by all the telcos, it will be one of the world's largest blockchain network. Of course, it is in the private blockchain or the enterprise blockchain space, where people need prior permission to join the blockchain. And as you know, India has about 1.2 billion subscribers, out of which 800 million are active subscribers. Now, all these 800 million active subscribers will be protected from the spam calls and spam text by using blockchain as a solution. So all the telcos have to do this compulsorily, and if they do not do this, they end up paying a fine that can go up to $10,000 per day of delay. I mean, in Indian context, we can do the math and figure out in terms of what the fine is. This is primarily being done by the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India because the spam calls and spam text exist in India today because the telcos do not share information with each other, and there is no established secure framework where they can share the information. So the regulator had suggested that all the telcos come onto a distributed ledger technology, which is blockchain, and share information with each other without fear of that information being misutilized, number one, and also with an ability to see how the information shared by them is being used by other telcos and by other stakeholders in the ecosystem. That's why all the telcos have now come onto a blockchain interface. Uh, they have most of them are using Hyperledger Fabric as a protocol, but they're using different cloud environments. For example, one telco has gone with Microsoft Azure, another telco has gone with IBM Cloud, and somebody is leveraging Amazon Web Services. That's why it's also called as the world's first multi-cloud blockchain implementation, protecting about 800 million subscribers. And it's a matter of a great pride for everyone from India, saying that we are home to the world's largest blockchain network. And that, I think, by far has been the largest implementation of blockchain, not only in India, but also globally.
Oh, fantastic to hear that. And we are lucky we have one audience question also already in.
Oh,
So
nice.
while the implementation that you talked about was definitely one of the, I can imagine the size of that implementation given the size of our country and the number of
Absolutely.
people who are on the devices. So that's a mammoth
Absolutely.
task. So
Absolutely.
question that I have is how blockchain can unblock government bureaucratic processes.
Okay, that's a very good question. So basically, blockchain is the next solution to bring in additional and enhanced layer of transparency within the government sector. If we see in terms of the journey that the governments did, both in India as well as outside India, they used IT as a key enabler to bring in the much required transparency, eliminate the opaqueness that is there in the government processes, and make it virtually impossible for people to manipulate information, manipulate the data. But over a period of time, the people who are in governments have become savvy, and they have figured out how to manipulate these IT systems to their benefit. As a result of which, the governments have been constantly looking at the next level of technology, which will always help them to be at the forefront and prevent such manipulation by people who are now become a lot more IT savvy. So that's where blockchain plays an important role because of its ability to uh, because of its ability to protect information from to an extent of 100% from manipulation. And government has been looking at blockchain in multiple areas to bring the transparency in the government to citizen services. For example, if you take a public distribution system, there are a lot of inefficiencies in the public distribution system, and that is run by the government, wherein the benefits do not reach the intended people, and the identity of people can be manipulated. So somebody can come and present himself or herself as a person who they are not and claim the benefits. But by utilization of blockchain, the ability to do so is limited. There could be other technologies which can facilitate this, but at this juncture, since there is no other good option to blockchain, government is considering blockchain. And we see this happening across the services that the government is offering. For example, we are working with the state government of Telangana to enable vehicle life cycle management on blockchain. And as we know, the ownership of vehicles is a big, the information pertaining to the ownership of vehicles is a big problem in India today. For example, some person had sold the car to another person. The other person who bought the car does not change the ownership, as a result of which we are not able to identify as to who the actual owner is, especially when there is a hit and run case on
True.
the road. These kind of things can be addressed with blockchain completely, and it will eliminate the opaqueness that is there in the system.
Oh, fantastic. So, for people who are just joining in, so we are almost 10 minutes into today's live chat with Rajesh Dhuddu, our resident expert, and Letice 80 top 100 blockchain influencer. We are talking about Do I need blockchain? Uh, Two questions, Rajesh. So far, we
Sure,
are good to
Malhar.
go. We already have one more question from an audience, but before I go there and pick up that one,
Okay.
I just wanted to understand what are the trends in blockchain that people should look at? What is something that brand should concentrate on?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that people should look at is in terms of there is this tendency to fall into a trap, which I call as the holy trap of I don't need blockchain. uh, because there's a tendency of people saying that their existing processes are completely foolproof, their existing systems are capable of addressing everything that a business needs or everything a customer asks for. If that has been the case, why are customers are looking for a improved customer experience? And why there are so many unfulfilled needs in the business? So from that perspective, everyone should give a fair chance to blockchain. Having said that, the other piece of advice I would like to share is don't do blockchain just for the tech sake. Do blockchain for the sake of business. Link blockchain implementations to business outcome. That should be the key driving factor. And let me give you some examples. For example, if you take the aspect of information integrity or a data integrity, this morning, I was reminded of an incident from my professional life. 6 years ago, when I sent an important document and copied my boss, who is the chairman of the previous company that I worked at, he called me up on my extension and said that, hey, Rajesh, please keep in mind that you will not send these documents in a Word or a PPT format. You have to PDF them and send them out. Why was he insisting for PDF? He was insisting for PDF so that the ability to manipulate information is second to none. But today, a high school student can manipulate a PDF document. So PDF documents are no more secure. We have to get technology which has gone to the next level and which protects the data integrity of information and data. Today, that possibility is there with the blockchain, not anymore with the PDF technology. Similarly, if you look at the audiovisual content in the media and entertainment industry, a lot of people secure their digital assets by incorporating a watermark. In fact, last week in Amsterdam, somebody was telling me that people have a tendency to put so many watermarks that the original picture itself is not visible because they are afraid of compromise as far as that IP
Right.
of that particular digital asset is concerned. Now, watermark can be ripped off by a high school student. So, these technologies played an important role in the past, but they are no more foolproof in future. So, from that perspective, we need to look at the next set of technology to safeguard our information, to protect our identity, and that's where blockchain can play a significant role. I say this because there is no other alternate technology that is able to do so. And the more important thing in today's life is there is a growing trust gap. The things that we trusted easily in the past, the people we trusted easily in the past, that is going to change. The paradigm pertaining to trust is going to be completely different. Initially, people used to start relationships with a positive element of trust. Now the relationships are started with a negative element of trust. So initially there was no reason for not to trust a person. Now people want to look at information and data so that they can trust in another person, and that trust gap in the world can be addressed by blockchain. So we need to look at blockchain to not only to meet the existing needs of the businesses, but also look at unfulfilled and unmet needs of the businesses. And that's where blockchain has a very good potential and can play a significant role.
Fantastic, fantastic answer. Next
Yeah.
question, the audience one, and which is my favorite actually, and something that have been keen to ask you for a long, long time.
Okay.
Blockchain beyond cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, in terms of wherever the talks that I do globally, yesterday I was speaking at Orange in Brussels. My first two slides say the following: just like how Xerox is not the only photocopier in the world, Bitcoin is not the only blockchain in world. Bitcoin is the world's first commercial application of blockchain. So is Xerox is the world's first commercial application of reprographics. That is the reason why they become iconic and they became industry terms. Number one. Number two, these days it is fashionable for people when you ask them for a particular information, they'll casually say Google it. By saying so, they're not implying you to use Google. You can use Yahoo, you can use Bing, you can use Safari, but they don't say that Yahoo it, Bing it, or Safari it. Right? It's not
Hmm.
fashionable. In a similar fashion, when people tell you to do blockchain, they're not implying you to use Bitcoins. Bitcoins is just the first commercial application of blockchain and played a major role. In fact, Bitcoins established the aspect of decentralization, the aspect of digitization of the trust, and also the element of disintermediation, basically taking away the role of governments for an important function in our respective lives, which is money. If blockchain had empowered Bitcoins to do that, blockchain can disintermediate anything in a B2B interaction or in a B2C interaction. So, from that perspective, cryptocurrencies are an important element of blockchain, but blockchain has a lot more applications beyond cryptocurrencies.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I'll pick up another question that has come from the audience. This is from Shanmuga Sundaram Ganesh,
Okay, I
sorry.
can move.
I hope I spelled that. He's asking, can there be a blockchain implementation in the news media company?
Yeah. Absolutely. So there are plenty of opportunities in news media company. Today, the problem that the media industry faces globally are from the perspective of fakes and from the perspective of deep fakes and also from the perspective of rampant violation of intellectual property rights. Blockchain has an ability to address all of this from a perspective of IPR protection and prevention of IPR violation. In fact, we have recently architected a solution from Tech Mahindra's perspective, where we are tracking the contracts in a media and entertainment industry in the entire value chain from pre-production to post-production to distribution, and also the IPR pertaining to various people in that particular distribution. The way we do it is, as I said earlier, watermark technology is a technology of the past to secure information. The way we are doing it is basically we take the watermark and we take the digital asset and we run it through a SHA-256 kind of an algorithm, and we create a source hash, and that source hash is archived in the blockchain. As and when this content moves through the distribution chain, whether it is internet or whether it is off internet, at any point of time, if someone wants to compare whether it is the original file, they can generate the hash of that particular file and compare with the original hash. If both the hashes tally, it shows that the information has not been compromised. But if the hashes do not tally, it tells you directly that the information has been compromised and IPR has been violated. This is how we are able to bring a change and a much required revolution in the media and entertainment industry and help them to protect their digital assets and also differentiate the original or identify the original from a fake and a deep fake.
Thank you, Rajesh. So there are a few people who might have recently joined on the stream. So just
Sure.
to again reiterate, we are talking about do I need blockchain with Rajesh Dhuddu, the global head of blockchain competency at Tech Mahindra. He is a Lattice 80 top 100 influencers on blockchain. So if you have questions around blockchain, this is the time. We still have 10 minutes in this conversation to go. Share your questions and we'll pick up and ask Rajesh live. So again, I have to delve a little further and probably be a little selfish here.
Sure.
What is the blockchain story of Tech Mahindra?
The our We are guided by a vision. The vision is to build one of the world's best blockchain companies. Most of our pursuits so far have been in the enterprise blockchain space. When I take this story and when I take this service offering to the global clients, the global CXOs, sometimes there is a tendency of the CXOs to say that, hey, by the way, enterprise blockchain is only like a flat file. From that perspective, is there a value from enterprise blockchain? So my answer to them is primarily from a perspective of look at it from a perspective of the business outcomes and how it can provide a completely newer customer experience, or how it can fix a broken business process, or how it can bring the collaborative benefits between customers, their partners, their suppliers, and their end customers. We've taken that kind of an approach, and this approach has resonated well with our customers. We've done many, many implementations in the last 12 months. But in summary, our offering is classified into three different categories. The first one is platform as a service, blockchain platform as a service, wherein we are coming up with five different sandboxes to address a problem across the industry, whether it is a digital rights management problem in media and entertainment industry, whether it is a loan securitization, problems in loan securitization in the banking and financial services, problems in supply chain finance in the trade finance area, problems in identifying or establishing the originality of the parts and originality of goods as they move through the supply chain from port to store, and also problems pertaining to managing the consent of individuals. Today, it is a well established practice where everybody else is using your information and missing the most important thing, that is taking your consent before they use the information pertaining to you. So those are the challenges that we would like to address with our platforms, where people can plug into our platforms and pay by drink, or pay per transaction. The second thing is we offer system integration capabilities, wherein we help companies to integrate blockchain into their native applications, whether it is to solve a failure of EDI pertaining to a purchase order process, or to give complete transparency, trackability, and traceability with respect to high precision tools that are shared between different suppliers for a automobile company. The list is endless. We have done many implementations. And the third one is we offer professional services, wherein a company wants a trained blockchain coder, the chain coder, or a technical architect. We offer those kind of services. And also, while doing so, we have a very comprehensive strategy called a block strategy, wherein there are about 7 or 8 levers. Out of that particular strategic levers, the most important is to align with the blockchain startups in the blockchain world, because a lot of good work is being done by startups, and we align with those startups and give them a platform as well as a credibility to scale up their services and take them to the global customers. In essence, this has been our approach, and this has been very well validated by various analysts, ISG, Gartner, Forrester. All of them have identified us as either the leaders or people with a very high potential. In addition to that, all our services have won awards. The recent one is the award that we won yesterday in Middle East, wherein we have implemented blockchain for 140 services that Abu Dhabi government body, which is the Abu Dhabi municipality, provides to the end customers. We have enabled blockchain in those services to ensure that there is no manipulation of those services or manipulation of benefits. And that has been identified as one of the best implementation till date in the Middle East region.
Oh, wow, fantastic. And congratulations on the award.
Thanks, Malhar. Congratulations to everyone, actually.
Absolutely. So we have last 5 minutes. I have one question from Rahul Karanjkar.
Okay.
His question is again goes back to our discussion around telcos.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hi,
he
Rahul.
said, we have seen a positive uptake in telcos on blockchain.
Right.
Are there any relevant examples, right? What has been done?
Yeah, in terms of, to be honest, the positive uptake and on telcos was also facilitated by the regulatory compulsion. That is because the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India has mandated the telcos to implement it. If the telcos were to implement it on their own in a collaborative fashion and a democratic fashion, it might have taken a much longer time. That is why we see that in the industry when there are various industry-wide consortiums, it takes a lot of time for people to come onto the consortium. Today, some of the consortiums, it'll be unfair for me to name those consortiums in public. But those consortiums suffer from what I call as an empty room problem. So they have a great solution, they have a great consortium, but not many people who are taking that because the people are still evaluating, or they are falling into the trap, the holy trap of I don't need blockchain. Until and unless they face some major business problem, or there is a lapse of any serious thing, then they will come and then they'll say, hey, now I would like to join the consortium. But these things are going to change over a period of time. I always give this example. For example, if Uber came during the 2G days, Uber would have been a disaster. Nobody would have used Uber in a 2G kind of an environment. So for a business like Uber to be successful, the facilitating factor should also be in place. Similarly, for blockchain to be completely successful, the facilitating factors, according to me, are 5G, a very high convergence of IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning. And when all of these come together on a 5G kind of a data speed, then people will need a trusted operating system. And that trusted operating system will be blockchain. Till that happens, the consortiums that have been able to motivate people, encourage people to join will be successful, or consortiums which have the government backing will be successful. But in the absence of any government backing, the convergence of all these technologies and 5G would be required for blockchain to become completely mainstream.
Thank you, Rajesh. So we have last 1.5 minutes
Yeah.
left on the show. So before we leave you, tell us about the blog that you are writing and where can people find it.
Yeah, I thought I will share my experiences by virtue of meeting people in different parts of the world, and then kind of demystify some common or demystify blockchain, and also clear some common misconceptions that are there with regards to blockchain. And that is the blog that I write on LinkedIn. It gets published on a weekly basis, and I have covered till date about 4 traps under the common theme: how to avoid I don't need blockchain holy trap, and what are the reasons that those traps are created, and how to watch those traps and how to overcome. That's the blog I run on LinkedIn, Malhar.
Thank you. So people connect with Rajesh on LinkedIn, read through his blog, and thank you, Rajesh, so much for being here, sharing your thoughts about blockchain and whether brands really need blockchain. Thank you so much again, and thanks to all the participants for the engagement that we had. Thank you,
Yeah,
and have a
before
good day.
you go, before we sign off, Malhar,